Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Game Vault Podcast News Hour. Another stream here on twitch.tv/Game Vault Pod. I'm your host, Mark. And we are coming to you live after another, I guess, the end of Key 3 with the Nintendo Direct that we'll talk about later in the stream. And getting ready for Gamescom coming up. I'll probably know the Gamescom schedule a little bit later in the week.
Teammate game.
So, hey, Maverick, thanks for the follow. We'll know the Gamescom stuff later in the week. Probably watching everything on tape delay. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm trying to think. Anything else to update you guys on? Before we get into the games. No, I think we're good. We're back on track with the streams. We did Monday. Then I did the Direct, and then we did we're doing this, and then Saturday, Sunday, blah blah blah. You know, back into the swing of things here. So let's start as we usually do here, while Big Mark is on the screen for those of you watching on Twitch and YouTube, with what I've been playing. So I actually got some games that I have not streamed that I've been playing. I had Juneteenth off in the United States Wednesday. So I was trying to find games to play. As I mentioned if you'll hear on TC Tam, if you haven't listened already. I didn't have much that I wanted to play, so I got a whole bunch of housework done. Did a lot of adult stuff and felt really bad. So I watched somebody stream the Alan Wake 2 DLC, which I believe we'll talk about that as well. I think I did that. I'll talk about it again, even if I did last week. And I was like, hey, what the hell? Let me download Quantum Break. So I downloaded Quantum Break, and then for a couple hours before watching our movie for TC Tam, I played through the first act of Quantum Break. I think they're broken up into 5 or 6 acts or whatever. So I got the whole opening of the story, the whole rigmarole in terms of the big reveal at the end of the act. I didn't watch the live-action episode yet. That was a separate download that I didn't know needed to be separately downloaded. So I will have to go do that at some point. But yeah, it's a pretty solid game. It's only about 10 hours from what I checked, so I may just finish it just to put another Remedy finish on my list there. So far, the combat, it's okay. I mean, I've put it on baby mode for story games, so I'm on easy, so I'm not really that stressed by the combat, but it does have some cool powers. The time dodge is neat, but I dodge into things a lot, like into a wall or into a pillar. I don't really know how to control where I go. I just hit the button and then I immediately just go, I guess, the way I was holding the control stick. I don't know if, but that's probably a simple thing, but it doesn't really matter. There's a shield, and there's where I can stop time and basically load a bunch of bullets into a time slow dome, and then, it'll, once the time restarts, it'll shoot all the bullets into the guy. So pretty cool power, but so far, the acting, this is a great example, if you've played Quantum Break, a great example of Hollywood actors not really translating as well as good voice actors do. That's always a problem. Kojima has this issue every so often. It's why he unfortunately went with Kiefer instead of keeping David Hayter for Snake. So Sean Ashmore's fine. Maybe it's because I'm used to Sean from, Alan Wake 2, where he had a better performance than he has here so far. That I'm fine with him. Dominic Moynihan has been a little frantic and not coming across well as a voice actor so far. Maybe he gets better as we go along. And, I'm assuming, no spoilers, I'm assuming flashbacks, because I think he dies at the end of the first act. But and then the other ones are great. You have I forget his name. Lance Reddick plays Silence in Horizon. Plays Hatch in this, or the door character from Alan Wake 2. But since he unfortunately passed, that's why there's a new actor in Alan Wake 2. He's good, but everybody else is everybody's pretty mediocre so far. I mean, Courtney Hope's in it, who plays Jessie. She's another character that they'll probably connect somehow in the world, but I think I can get through the 10 hours just to put it in there, but it's not... there's a reason why people don't talk about this one as much as the others. And moving on, since Night Duck mentioned in the chat how woke do I feel after the Awake DLC. The Alan Wake DLC is pretty good. Like I said, I don't know if I talked about it last week, so I'll go into a little bit here. The first one is just very fun. It's just you as Rose, as insane as she is, just going around shooting Taken, I guess they're called, or whatever, with an automatic 12-gauge shotgun. Just pop, 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 pop. And it is very fun. On story mode, it's great. I had like 500 bullets, so I was just unloading into everything with no problem. It's a very well done story in the sense that it told mostly from the Rose character's perspective and how upset she is with Alan Wake, or the writer in this story, and just really showing how great. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much could have happened in that DLC, and I wouldn't have batted an eye. You know, the Taken King and then protecting Earth from to protect Earth and the Traveler. Yeah, they could have brought Destiny stuff into this, and I would have been like, sure, Remedy made a deal with Bungie. Who knows? That's sort of the way I feel about a lot of the things they do. Sure, that's fine. The Rose thing's great, as a pretty good ending. Some great scenes of just her covered in blood and people not even not acknowledging it. It's great. The second DLC wasn't as good. These are all about an hour long, so it's not like a waste of your time for the... Well, I had to pay $16 for the upgrade because I had played original Alan Wake 2 on Game Pass. So for the $16, it's fine, especially with me getting the Lake House, which is the second half of the DLC, which is probably going to come in the fall, I would imagine. Second one wasn't great. There's a lot of like puzzle stuff where like you go do a thing, and it says no, you got to do this, and you got to backtrack, and a lot of fetch questy stuff in there. But the story was as good. It's crazy as usual. This is the one where you play as Jesse Faden, but it seems like it's pre-control, so you don't have all the cool powers that make Jesse Faden cool. Again, whole shit ton of bullets in story mode, so just, breaking the darkness shield and then pop, 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 pop on a gun, without having to really aim, was great. But it was the weakest of the three, and, kind of just worked to bring the characters together. And then the strongest of the three, I believe, was the last one, which is Timebreaker, which is all about Sean Asmore's character, Tim Breaker, from the game. And they connect that he is different versions throughout the multiverse. So it has the weird multiverse story, which is always... can go either way, but Remedy's so fucking nuts that I think they can pull it off. But the best part about this is you go through all these different iterations of types of video games and types of visuals and aesthetics and stuff like that. And it's just really cool. I don't want to spoil anything for you. They do a really good job with it. And sort of that's the big story thing. Because they do a lot of story. They do a lot of things that I think will carry over to Alan Wake 3, Control 2, Quantum Break 2, question mark? Because Timebreaker, which is essentially what he is in Quantum Break. This one, the third one, is the one that I think has a lot of the story in it. The other ones were kind of just throwaway fun. we get Jesse Faden in here. We have some weird connection, and we get a cool control shot at one point with the red light behind her and stuff like that. So yeah, I really, really like the third one. It's far and away the best of the three. Yeah, probably goes 3-1-2 in terms of quality. But yeah, the Alan Wake 2 DLC is great. I can't wait for the Lake House, which I think is going to be the stuff that sort of leads into Control 2. Because that's a lot about the FBC, the Federal Bureau of Control. That's in Alan Wake 2. It's going to be a lot about that, so I think it's going to lead into Control 2. So, can't wait to see that. Besides that, play a little more NHL 24. I tried the Be a Pro mode. I think most of those are pretty boring. And I don't know how, like, it's just, like, they ask you to do stuff, and then you have to, like, depend on your teammates, and if your teammates stink or don't do, like, you give them a great pass, and then they don't shoot, and then you're punished for it in the game, and it's just like, man, I don't know. That's why I don't like any of those single-player things anymore, because I don't want to rely on the AI to finish the beautiful play I make. I would like to be the person to control that person. But I like some of the cool aspects of it. Hopefully maybe in 25 they do it a little better. I probably won't know. I probably won't check it out. But yeah, and that... And then, I think the only other thing for stream, we played Super Mario World. I spent almost an entire stream on one level, with the great encouragement of Night Duck there the whole time while we were going. And, you know, finally got through that mid-castle, and then, you know, ran out of time to do anything else. So it looks like we're probably going to finish World 6 next week, hopefully. Or maybe it'll be a level a week at this point, because I think this is it's definitely the final world, and the final castle on this has a little, like, Bowser head, so I'm assuming that's Bowser's castle, unless that was on the other ones and I just didn't notice it, but, yeah, so I would say at least 2 weeks, probably be done that. I'm going to miss my time with it, but, yeah, it's almost over, and then we'll get a new retro game for Mondays, and then, yeah, that's about it for what I played. I downloaded Wolfenstein: The Old Blood when I was deciding between games, so I might pick that up after I beat Quantum Break as my off-stream game until July 19th when NCAA comes out, because I'm not going to be, you know, buying Thousand Year Door anytime soon. I could probably play Flintstock, but who knows. Nothing really out there for me to play at this point until college football, and I also got to save a bunch of money because I got, you know, neat softball things coming up and family vacations and stuff. So we can pick up all the games later. Especially a lot of the ones I want to play are on Game Pass, so I don't really have to purchase them. But yeah, so, you know, schedule will pick back up. We'll have Persona tomorrow if you're watching this live. Sunday will be a new game. I think me and Night Duck have decided what it'll be. And so we'll play that one on easy, just so, you know, we can have some fun. And not me struggle with any kind of difficulty in the game. And on Monday is, you know, Super Mario World, and then we'll go from there. We're back. And then once we beat Persona, you know, we already have a Turn of Night set up there, and then we'll figure out another JRPG or something like that. Maybe Metaphor will be out by that point or something, and we'll do something for Saturday nights. Oh, yeah. Without further ado, let's switch on over to the news. So we'll first go through the Nintendo Direct. Here. Yeah, so we'll start off with the most important news here for me. New Zelda. They announced Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which you finally play as Zelda as the protagonist. I did like a lot of the videos going around where people, you know, playing the bit about that, you know, Link being Zelda and this is Princess Hyrule. Those videos have been fun, but I am glad to see that they finally do a proper Zelda as the protagonist, and not a CDI game. I love the Link's Awakening look, so I'm glad that it's in that. Nice top-down thing. So yes, and I was saying some of the good memes, not a lot of the other memes that came out. But yeah, I like the idea of the gameplay. It's a good way to. I think what it nicely sets up is if you want to have a game where you have dual protagonists at some point with Link and Zelda, you now have given Zelda a power that's not just female Link with sword. You could have went because Zelda nerding a little bit here. The three pieces of the Triforce, are split up amongst our three main characters. Zelda, Ganon, and Link. Ganon, obviously, with how big he usually is and what he's always looking for, always gets the Triforce of Power, that piece of it. Link gets the Triforce of Courage because he's a dumbass that will run headfirst into danger without thinking. And then Zelda always gets the Triforce of Wisdom. And I think it's a really good idea to have her power consist of knowledge and wisdom and learning how to recreate things or find a way to get things to fight on her side. I think it's a really cool part. So if you ever do co-op or, dual protagonists, they feel different and have their own characteristics. So I am very much looking forward to this game. Coming out in September. I'm probably not going to stream it. I like to keep Zelda close to my chest. That's why I didn't stream Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. But know that I will be playing this and talking about it a lot on this podcast and the podcast Prime when that comes back. Speaking of Prime, like that transition, the one last thing of the show was Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Gameplay and all was shown, release date given. Well, not a date exactly. They gave a window in 2025. The way they're announcing these games, I'm thinking the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible. Because there's no reason to hold Metroid Prime, announce Metroid Prime 4 if it's not going to be able to be played on the new system. I think it's really a waste. If it was going to be, I just makes me feel like it's definitely going to be backwards compatible. But Metroid Prime 4, like I said, not a huge Metroid fan. I think I mentioned it on one of the streams. The only one I played through was Super Metroid Full. I played the other ones, Metroid Prime, the original, and Regular Metroid for this podcast. That's about my extent of knowledge of Metroid. So while this announcement is, I can tell is huge. Was like an okay for me, like proof of life. Finally, can know that it is still coming. And it looks pretty decent. It looks good. You hope the frame rate holds up on Switch if it is on the Switch 1. But yeah, that's about it. And then the other one, the game that opened the show, Mario and Luigi Brothership. The first Mario and Luigi game in, I think it's 9 years? 10 years? Something like that. Mario and Luigi is, for some reason, Nintendo has two separate Mario RPGs, or three separate now since they put the original out. But the first one, Super Mario RPG probably aligns more with Paper Mario. But yeah, this art style definitely separates it. It plays much different. I played a little bit of the Superstar Saga, I think, was what that one was called. I didn't play a whole lot of it, but I'm more of a Paper Mario, Super Mario RPG guy. But it looks good. I love the art style. I love the fact that they have two separate RPG series. And the one I really need to pick up Bowser's Inside Story, because I hear a lot of people saying that's one of the best this kind of RPG ever made. So it had to be, because it was the first one I played. So, it's cool that they're, they give a lot of options. Wonder comes out, it's a 2D one. This comes out, the remake for RPG comes out. New New Paper Mario is probably on the way. You have to remake A Thousand Year Door. It's, you know, it's nice to have options with the Mario franchise. So, yeah, it looked perfectly fine. I liked. I mean, I couldn't really tell the writing, but yeah, because that's what I think sets Paper Mario apart. Is the writing, and I hear this is just as good. So next up is a game that I was thankfully informed of by Meta Militia and Night Duck. Dragon Quest III, the HD 2D, which I love that style for old classic games. That's what I think. If they're going to remake 6 and they're going to remake Chrono Trigger, it's got to be in this. The only thing I would add is voice acting, which I don't think Dragon Quest III is going to have. That's the only thing I would add for Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. Is if you're going to remake them, give me voice acting. If Final Fantasy VII's cast shows you anything, it means they know how to cast voice actors. So, give it to me. But Dragon Quest III, not very much of a Dragon Quest person. I played a little bit of 11. I probably played these when they were out for Super Nintendo and NES. Yeah, because I think 1 is Dragon Warrior, and I think I played a little bit of Dragon Warrior before young Mark was like, I don't like this. Get me back to the Blades of Steel. But I was like, why do you do 3 first? And then I was informed 2 reasons. Dragon Quest 3 is probably the most popular of the early ones, so it's obvious to make that one first. And then I believe it was Night Duck that had mentioned that, or maybe it was Meta Militia. One mentioned one thing and one mentioned the other. The other one was that 3 is a prequel. So essentially, the games go 3, 1, 2 in terms of story. So, you know, it's like why Konami's putting out Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater Delta. It's the first game because it is the first one in the chronologically. So they probably are going to do it in the remakes in chronological order. So, yeah, like they're doing here with Dragon Quest. I would definitely pick this up because I love Live Alive in this style. And I love Octopath Traveler. Because this would be a great way to experience this game, which is definitely one of the big holes in my gaming backlog. And then the game, to no fault of its own, that really pissed me off in this segment. I have nothing against Donkey Kong Country Returns. I played it on Wii. It's a good game, really good. Donkey Kong Country game are great. But I had a little rant and needed to vent on the direct stream because I'm like, why are we bringing this game from the Wii to the Switch when you still have not given us Wind Waker? Like, where's my Wind Waker, Anuma? It makes me angry to no end. It is the one game trapped on the Wii U that should be on the Switch. Maybe they're going to put it on the Switch too. Who knows? And I got to go buy a Switch too. Or whatever. But God damn it. I don't want to have to go buy a used Wii U to just play Wind Waker. And I don't want to try and figure out how to emulate it. Because I want to play the real thing. Give it to me on Switch. Anyway. Game looks fine. I love Tropical Freeze more. But yeah. I was just mad that this is the thing that they brought in as a remake. Super Mario Party, game of skill. But I love the fact the online components and a lot of the single player components that it looks like they're having, which makes it way more of a game that you want to play, you want to buy. If you don't have kids or don't live in a dorm or anything, it gives you incentive for buying the game itself. So I think it'll be. I think the Coop, what's it called? They have it there. The Coop-athlon? Coop-athlon? Whatever. Where you play against 20 players online. And sort of get eliminated, Fall Guy style. So, very good idea from Nintendo for that. So, A collection of games here that, again, not being a big fighting game guy, I didn't jump up and down for, but I understand. Like, I've been around enough to know the importance of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in the fighting community. And then also seeing Maximilian Dood freak out about this. I did enjoy the Street Fighter. Hey, Kitty Ass Cat, how you doing? Glad to see your internet's working. Yeah, so, you know, all these games are great. I played a couple of them in arcades, and, you know, just when you go to those places where you can buy a card for $10, and just go up to any machine and, you know, play. But, yeah, I think it's a great idea because the Street Fighter collection was pretty good. The Mega Man collection has been pretty good. And it just maybe opens this up to younger generations to, you know, maybe play with their parents or something like that in terms of a fighting game that the parent has a chance to win. And that Punisher game is very, very underrated. Very underrated as a beat-em-up. So I'm glad to see that. You know, because Captain America and the Avengers usually gets all the pub because of how slightly terrible it is. But the Punisher one is actually a pretty good beat-em-up. So I'm glad to see that. Next up, they announced 4 games for Nintendo Switch Online for the premium section, the expansion pack or whatever they call it. It's pretty punishing. It's a Super NES beat 'em up, so you know it can be like that. Yeah, but I really enjoyed my time with it when I played it when I was younger. So I'm glad that they're putting that back out there for more people to enjoy. So Nintendo Switch Online thing, again, just, I mean, I'm going to play Link to the Past. I am. I literally own this GPA cart, and I'm probably going to download and play it on here. Four Swords is great. Haven't played it in a long time because of it being stuck on a GPA. The only one that's, like, stands out here is that Turok has such a cult following, but we played that on stream, and that game is the worst. It is an awful video game. Not on the level of, like, Superman 64 or anything like that, but it is just way worse than its reputation amongst, or the cult following allows. But it's on here. I mean, you can try it for yourselves and tell me I'm right. And then Perfect Dark. Best part about Perfect Dark is they're doing the online multiplayer, which they did not do for GoldenEye because of some weird thing with Microsoft. But Perfect Dark gets the online multiplayer. I played the shit out of Perfect Dark when I was younger because it was much cooler GoldenEye. And it was the thing we graduated to after GoldenEye as a friend group. And then Metroid Zero Mission. Never played it, but a lot of people praised it. It feels very much like one of those, if you had a Game Boy Advance, and you probably played that. I got my Advance late and basically just had it for Link to the Past, which seems to be the way for a lot of things I had. And then the thing I'm looking most forward to on the online is the Nintendo World Championships. I might actually download and play that tonight, if it's... No, it hasn't been released yet. I keep thinking it's been released. But that comes July 18th. I'll probably play the shit out of it on July 18th, and then all video games do not exist the next day. Yeah, I'm trying to. I'll stick with this one till your ads get back. Yeah, so Nintendo World Championships. I downloaded the ROM for the original cart from like 1988 or 90, something like that. I'm glad that they're expanding on it and doing some fun speedrunning and like challenges with players, and you can play online in like a elimination thing. I think that's gonna be fun. Like I said, I'm probably gonna play the shit out of it on July 18th. And then a game that I completely forgot existed, Nintendo Switch Sports is adding basketball finally. I think that was like rumored, or you could see a basketball court in the original thing from what I remember. I think we had the discussion, like, I think it's been like a year and a half since that game came out. Ah! Thank you for the sub. I was waiting for how long you were tempted to do that. Thank you for the sub, Night Duck. Welcome back to the Game Vault. Enjoy your emotes. And be gone, dumb ads. And thank you for 36 months. Jesus. It's 3 years, man. Holy crap. Anyway, that's because we realized on the stream, and this probably means nothing to maybe the new viewers or anything. I had my setup that I'm at now was in my living room. And I just felt like I came into the bedroom for 2 reasons. One, Game Vault Cat was getting way too vocal, and it was interfering with actual, like, serious, like, I'd say serious with TC Tam, but, like, serious podcasts that we do that Game Vault Cat's not a part of. So that's why I came in the bedroom, so I could shut the door for that. And that was over a year and a half ago or more. So it's been a while for Switch Sports. And then Lego Horizon, we already talked about. I think it's great if you have kids. It's going to make Aloy more annoying to the people that already hate her. But it's very, very lighthearted. And this was the game that I was most excited for when it popped up. I don't know if I expressed that on the podcast. But Phantasian is from, I believe... Yes, it is. Okay, it is from Mistwalker. It was stuck on Apple Arcade. And I was not signing up for Apple Arcade to play it. So I am so glad to see it come here. I will probably get to it at some point. I just love everything, you know, that Sakaguchi does. I'm having trouble pronouncing names. I at least know how to say Sakaguchi. Yeah, everything he's done so far, you know, I've enjoyed. So I'm definitely gonna pick it up. Sack of Gucci. I know it probably sounds awful with my accent, but my brain was not processing Hironobu, I think I said. My brain is just not processing that name, even though I've said it a billion times. But yeah, I am looking forward to this, to at least seeing how it is. I've heard good things about it, but since it was on Apple Arcade, I never really got to touch it. So, yeah. And then, like I said, the next game is a mixture of a Jen and a Dan game. So, Roxy alert went out a little bit. Tales of the Shire. It's basically like a farming sim type, cozy Animal Crossing type game. So probably not for me, even though I like the cozy farming stuff, but I'm not huge on Lord of the Rings to the extent that it would let me buy a game like this when there's a bunch of other games that are probably better in that genre. So and speaking of Animal Crossing likes, Hello Kitty Island Adventure is basically just looks like Hello Kitty in Animal Crossing, and it is amazing how long Hello Kitty has been around, and still as popular as they are. So essentially, you know, it just feels like Animal Crossing with Hello Kitty. So if you're into either one of those things, I think this game will be good for you. Disney Illusion is fun for, you know, your Disney people, and you know, it has the big update, or the free update coming out with it. So, if you have it, get it. I love the art style of Illusion Island here. But yeah. And then, again, another remake coming that is not Wind Waker. I love Luigi's Mansion 2. Probably, I'll pick it up at some point. Probably not anytime this year. Anytime I hear Luigi's Mansion, whether my accent is good or not, my brain immediately starts going, Mario! Mario! Because my brain is broken. And yeah, so again, still mad, no Wind Waker. We can skip the Funko thing because that was awful. Metal Slug looks great as a, you know, update it, you know. So Metal Slug is game, you know, or at least attack is a tower defense, as it says. Should be fun for this. Darkest Dungeon 2, which is a weird game for Switch, but the first game is pretty good. Got a little bit far and it didn't get to where it starts getting real crazy. It's a really, really good idea for a game. Yeah, it takes you places. Another game we discussed, Looney Tunes. Like, I don't know if Kitty Ashcat is still here. Maybe she can chime in. Do kids know what the Looney Tunes are? Like, is this just somehow pandering to millennials? Which most video games kind of do now anyways. But, yeah, if Kitty Ashcat's still here, maybe she can let me know if she knows who the Looney Tunes are. Because I don't think Gen Z does. Unless if they watch Space Jam 2, which could possibly have happened. That's the only touchstone. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know. The reruns are probably around somewhere. I don't think there's newer spin-offs or anything. I think Space Jam 2 is the only one I can think of. Maybe there are. Maybe I don't. If she's still around, maybe she could have chimed in. But it was the weirdest thing for this. Maybe they're trying to bring it back to get a new generation in, like how Hello Kitty does every so often. But it looks good. I think Looney Tunes are a great use for a crazy sports game. And in a game that probably looked the worst, Stray looked terrible on the Switch. Like, absolutely terrible. I don't know. Hopefully they have time to clean it up, but it did not translate well to Switch. So, but if you haven't played it, Stray's a pretty good game. It's a pretty good Switch game, but I just wish it looked better. Mio's the only game I'm confused about. It's a Metroidvania. But yeah, probably need to see more of it. I probably need to watch the trailer a little bit more to kind of figure it out. But yeah, I like these weird, quirky games ending up on Switch. And then again, if Kitty Ashcat is here, there are new crewmate and imposter roles. I love some of these new roles. I didn't know that they had introduced new ones, but some of these are great. I love the Phantom one, where you can kill somebody and then turn invisible. Yeah, the Noisemaker is a pretty good one. I like some of these new ideas. Perfect amount of things for the Just Dance. Just Dance is going to be on the Switch, and yeah, it has new songs. This wasn't even worthy of the Ubisoft Forward. They just stuck it on here. I will take it to my grave that the worst dance game won. Dance Central was so much better, but it was locked to a terrible piece of hardware in the Kinect. The concept of that, it was so much more fun trying to learn those dances and be coordinated, but the Kinect was terrible. These, you can literally just stand there and just move the thing around where it says. You don't even have to try and dance, and you will get credit for it. And it's just the wrong dance game won. Yeah. I just love the fact with Just Dance, Night Duck, is that it used to be a big announcement for Ubisoft. They used to either open the show with it or do some wild thing during the show where people were dancing around, people in costumes and stuff like that. And in this one, nothing. You heard nothing at the forward. And then they just pop it on here for 5 minutes and go, hey, this is where it sells. Have at it. And, yeah, it's kind of fun. It was very whiplash inducing. Jesus, I can't talk. Ace Attorney, give me more Miles Edgeworth. I am excited. I I'll probably get to that at some point. I want to play. I'm trying to get far enough away from the first Phoenix Wright to where I don't remember the solutions and we can play it on stream. But my memory is too good. I don't know how long that'll be. Maybe we'll do it in the fall or something. Phantom Brave looks cute. Definitely in my wheelhouse of game to try out. Don't know much of the backstory. It seems to be part of a series or inspired by an anime or manga or something. But, yeah. Another fun Roxy game. I think she'll really enjoy this one. And then the 100 line, Lance Defensive Academy. Definitely going to pick it up. I have to play Danganronpa. Maybe that'll be something for a stream at some point. But I did really like the look of this game, and it screams a game I would love. Just trying to go through these pretty quickly. I forgot how many games they announced. Romancing Saga. Saga games are great. I haven't really played a whole lot of them. When I say a lot, I mean put a lot of investment into the ones that I have played. Mostly played them as, you know, after they were popular. So, didn't have a reason to stick with it. Fairy Tail 2, again, I think it is based off of some other media. Like either an anime or a manga or something. Looks cool. Probably not something I'll pick up, but yeah. Yeah, this was a weird free-to-play game. New Denpa Men. Nintendo always has to have the weird games. So, overall, the Direct was a success, but not as big a one. I still think, even though they do the bait and switch all the time, Xbox, I still enjoyed Xbox's conference the best. I think they far and away got me the most excited about the most things. But yeah, that Zelda game's probably top 3 of my games of Key 3. With the Life is Strange game still being number 1. I can't believe they brought Max back. I am so beyond excited for that game. I keep seeing ads everywhere for it because my phone knows. My phone knows. It knows. It knows. So moving on to other news. We'll get some Zelda stuff. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but this was the first thing I thought of. As soon as they announced Echoes of Wisdom, I was like, where does this fall in the timeline? So it'll probably, I don't want to go too deep into it. It probably falls sometimes around A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds, you know, Link's Awakening, like that area of the timeline, just because of the map of Hyrule they're using. But it's always fun. That's one of the things I love about Zelda, is the Hyrule Historia. I have it. Yeah, one of the I got 2 of the 3 books. But yeah, first thing I thought of too, and I'm glad that there was a news story about it. So going on to non-Nintendo news, like I mentioned beforehand, we're going to be doing stuff for Gamescom.
Confirmed they're still working on an original game, and
sorry about that. Xbox is going to be at Gamescom. Sony and Nintendo are skipping, so we probably won't have much to stream or talk over there. But if they're doing anything on Opening Night Live, we're definitely going to watch Opening Night Live, and then we'll watch if they do anything special. But they will be there, you know, showing off the games, you know, the new models, you know. So yeah, like I said, we'll probably know my schedule soon-ish on what we're doing. You know, sort of the dates are right here. Gotta see if there's any other press conferences or stuff that we need to follow. We'll try and play that as much as we did for Key 3 and Summer Game Fest. Next thing is a game I'm looking forward to, Black Myth Wukong. You know, it got delayed. There was an August 2024 announcement to it. You're still going to get to play it on August 20th if you have PC or PlayStation 5, but they're trying to optimize it to their quality standards. And, you know, he's not going to comment on, you know, things that the partners make with other systems. So basically, this is either going to go one of two ways for Xbox. It's either they're going to look like geniuses when Black Myth comes out and it's terribly running, it has bugs on PC and PS5, and then they took the time to polish it and their version comes out and looks spectacular. Or it could look great on PlayStation 5 and PC, and most of the people that, unless they're Xbox exclusive players, would have already played it on PC. You know, I'm saying the non-Sony owners will probably have played it on PC before, and then they won't get anything unless they get something exclusive from it. But yeah, this can only go one of two ways for them. They're probably banking on the former. I think it's more likely going to be the latter. I think it just wasn't running well on Series X stuff, and I think it'll be fine everywhere else. So it might be an indictment of the system itself. So there was some backlash to paid mods, and for Starfield here, just wanted to do real quick here. You know, just Steam people, as they do, just you know, give right up in arms about this. I don't think it's great. You know, the paid mods, you know, have its benefits, have its problems, but I think unless it was revealed and I missed it, I don't think you can. But you know, I love this. You know, we hear the feedback and we making sure valued everybody, and hey, you will definitely adjust. So sort of the like, you know, hey, we heard you. We thought we might get away with this mostly, but we'll readjust. You'll forget about it, and we'll still do it. I just want to point that out because Todd Howard does that a lot. So yeah, let me know what you think about the paid mods in Starfield. Yeah, and our final 4 stories here are going to be real quick because I am running out of voice. Our June Wave 2 of Xbox Game Pass. You have Still Wakes the Deep, which I've heard great things about. My Time at Sandrock. I think they had the other one was in there. My Time at Porsche or something. FC24 finally comes after the soccer season's over. If you already have PS5 and you have PS Plus, you're already sort of seeing this here. You already have it. So, but this is the normal time frame for all those EA Plus games. And SteamWorld Dig 2 is coming as well. I have to play that because I loved SteamWorld Dig. But yeah, there are the games. Still Wakes Deep, My Time at Sandrock, Keplerth, EA FC24, SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld Dig 2. I highly recommend SteamWorld Dig. And Robin Hood Sherwood Builders. So, yeah, those are the games. If you do have Game Pass, if you're looking out for any of those, they are coming out. And this was something, Jackbox announcing what they're calling the Mega Picker. Yeah, so the problem is remembering games in different packs. So Jackbox is announcing the Mega Picker. So you still have to buy all the packs. You can just put them all into one launcher and just be able to pick the games, and it loads up the correct pack, if I remember this correctly. This is Steam exclusive, it looks like. But it is a very good idea for like us on Extra Life we can just pick the game we want to play rather than trying to figure out which pack it is in. So, long time coming. I'm glad that they're finally doing it because they have over 50 games now. So, I'm trying to remember what's where is getting great. So this last one of story I pulled video game wise is the Antstream arcade. It's a retro gaming thing, subscription service coming to iPhone. So I feel this is something that Metal Militia would look into. And yeah, it's going to be $30 per year. For the first, I think it says it's a promotional discount. It'll be $40 a year, or you can do it monthly. Always do the year if you know you're going to play it. It's going to have 1,300 retro games in it. At least a bunch of them there. You can go from Space Invaders all the way to something like Sam & Max Hit the Road and things like that. Apple is loosening its policies, making it easier for this, so this is the main reason it's coming out. So yeah. So if you're a retro game player, and you want one spot to have all of your games, I think they sell this thing as well to play it on, which is cool. But yeah, I think definitely this is something Metal Militia will probably pick up for sure. Another final story, not video game related. I mean, he may voice somebody in video games, but at least for myself here, I wanted to say a rest in peace to Donald Sutherland, and yeah, one of probably my favorite actors. And it's if you haven't watched any of his movies, highly recommend Ordinary People and Dirty Dozen, and a lot of the older stuff is really good. I mean, he's great in Hunger Games. He's probably one of the 2 best actors in that movie. 3, depending on where you want to put Jennifer Lawrence there, but him and Stanley Tucci sort of steal the show in that movie. But yeah. Most people probably know his son Kiefer more, but Donald Sutherland, one of the great actors who just acted to act, and just you could always tell he loved what he did with it. So rest in peace, Donald Sutherland. You have inspired many of actors, but was a fan favorite of mine, and I wanted to mention him on this podcast here. So we'll go back to Big Mark here to close it out. Thank you guys for joining me. It's fun as always. If you have any thoughts on the Nintendo Direct or anything we talked about here today, if you want to let us know where in the timeline the new Zelda game is located, feel free to let us know. We're on all social medias. Also, we have the Discord channel there, so if you want to message us, I think I might need to invite you, so if you already know Metal Militia, you might be able to get you in, but if not, just let us know on Instagram, Twitter, wherever that you'd like to join the Discord. I don't know if it's public to join. I gotta check that. Or if you know Kitty Ashcat, she can let you in too, I believe. So, yeah. Thank you guys for joining me. We'll be back if you're watching this live on Twitch. We'll be back tomorrow with Persona 4, or Persona 3, Jesus, for about, I'm hoping to go anywhere between 2.5 and 3 hours, depending on where we are. We may end up going to the 4 mark. I want to start about 8 o'clock, so yeah, and that's 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so adjust to your time zone accordingly. I want to do a little later, so it's a little bit cooler in my apartment, before I'm sitting in front of the screen for a long time. And then Sunday we'll be playing a new game, which will be announced that day. I don't want to announce it here. And then Monday we have Super Mario World 2, which hopefully maybe I'll beat that day. Maybe it'll take another week. Who knows? And then we'll be back on Friday with the news hour here. I may probably not. I'm probably 4 days is probably good stream, and then I can get a couple days off because I still record TC Tam and also play Dungeons and Dragons during the space between Monday and Friday. So trying to squeeze in another stream probably wouldn't do. And probably I can also play the other games that, yeah, beat that baby game. Hell yeah. You know, play games like Quantum Break and Wolfenstein and things, and, you know, get my NCAA time in so that I'm not worried about it while streaming for you guys. So, once again, thank you for joining me. If you're live on Twitch, I will see you tomorrow. If you're listening to this on YouTube or the podcast, we will see you tonight for Super Mario World 2. Thank you to Metal Militia, Night Duck, Kitty Ashcat, everybody who joined us today. It's been fun as always. And we'll see you next time. Bye!